Alright. First and foremost, we want to begin by giving all praises and all glory to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash,
double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who do rule well. Each blessing to the sincere Akim, may the elect virgin pushing his truth on the four corners of the earth, giving all diligence to make the calling and election sure. Couple brothers gather here through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai from GMS Trinidad. We want to go into the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter. Hopefully, it be edifying, and the Lord give us the spirit of utterance and speech to break it down and to be edifying to the flock of the nation of Israel. Alright? So, without further ado, we're just going to go into it, into the history artifact, because the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter, you had to know history. If you don't know history, you ain't going to understand the mystery of what Revelation 12 actually speaking about, starting from verse 1. Alright? So, without further ado, we're just going to go into it. I brought to side be edifying.
Alright, so the book of Revelation chapter 12 and verse 1. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars.
Alright, and that woman goes into Israel. Right? And that 12 stars representing 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And we're going to prove that through the scriptures. Alright, firstly, you get the word in Jeremiah 6 and 2.
Right. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 6 and verse 2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman.
Come, Lord likened Zion to a comely and delicate woman. You get Genesis 37. So we just deal with the woman, and now we're going to deal with the stars. Right? Genesis 37 and verses 9.
Book of
That sun and that moon that represents wisdom and understanding. Right? Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. That the sun and the moon would have going to. Right? The scripture says, wisdom make it a man face to shine. Right? Go ahead.
And Genesis 37 verse 9. And he dreamed yet another dream, and told his brethren, and said, Behold, I have dreamed a dream more, a Joseph here. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars made obeisance to me.
Yeah, it was bowing to him. That is the dream he told his father. His mother and father would have been the sun and the moon, right? And the 11th star would have been the rest of his brethren. So that is a scripture to add to show what the stars speaking about, right? In the book of Revelation, the 12th chapter. Go ahead.
Verse 2.
So it was the precept where the Lord tell Abraham he will make his seed as the stars as a heaven,
right?
and the sun as the sea.
That's beautiful, because that is what the Lord promised. That is what the Lord promised, right? Go ahead.
Yeah. In Revelation 12 and 2. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered.
Yeah, and what that goes into the time of the Roman Empire, right? The nation of Israel was seeking that deliverance. And who was to come forth to deliver the nation of Israel? Yahushua. So we're going to go into the book of Matthew, the 11th chapter, because we was facing hell underneath the Roman Empire. And if you track back from the Roman Empire was the Greeks, right? Then the Median, the Persian, then the Babylonian Empire, right? So, go ahead.
In Matthew 11 and verse... What verses are from?
I believe you're talking about the kingdom I have on
Yeah,
suffered
12.
violence.
12.
11 and 12.
Right? No, man, 12.
I heard in Matthew 11 and verses 12. And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven, talking about the people, suffered violence, and the violent take it by force.
Yeah, the violent take it by force. And the history to that would have go back to Herod, right after he came out the Flavian dynasty, which would have been the the time of the Maccabees, right? Which would have been Judas Maccabees and his children coming down, would have been ruling, right? Then came in Antipater the Edomite, whose son was Herod the Edomite, and he married one of the Israelite women, right? Herod even killed his wife, right? So that that child wouldn't have come up into deliverance. He didn't wanted nothing to do that, hey, I'm going to lose the kingdom. You understand? And in the time of the Roman Empire, he would have looked or appeared to be a Jew, right? But he was an Edomite.
If you go into Herod name and all, they could tell you son of Antipater, the Idumean. If you bring it out, just have a look up Herod here and go into
Matthew, the second chapter, you get Herod name.
Matthew 2 and 1
says. The book of Matthew chapter 2 and verse verse 3. No, yeah, verse 1.
Yeah, the word Herod here goes back to Herodes.
So like G2264.
Yep, to what?
Herodias, not Herodes, Herodias.
Yeah. Herod equal heroic. Yep, and the first definition 1a, the name of a royal family that flourished among the Jews in the time of Mashiach and the apostles. Herod the Great was the son of Antipater of Idumea.
And Idumea is the Greek way of saying Edom, right? Even in the book of Isaiah 34, not to jump off topic, they make reference to the Lord gonna come down upon Idumea. You understand? So, we were facing Roman persecution, right, heavily, as you got already precept earlier on in Isaiah, Matthew 11 chapter, right, and we were seeking that salvation. There is the book of Isaiah, chapter 53 and verse 11. It says, he shall see of the travail of his soul, he shall be satisfied by his knowledge. Shall my righteous servant justify many? For he shall bear the iniquities. And this is where how shall come to do. He come to bring deliverance to the nation of Israel. Right? If you go to the book of Micah, the 5th chapter, and you can start at the 2nd verse.
The book of Micah, chapter 5 and verse 2.
Go ahead.
But thou Bethlehem Ephrathite, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me, that is to be ruler in Israel, whose goings forth have been from of old.
Yeah, have been from of old, because Yahushua was predestined from the foundation of the earth. Right? He was spoken into existence to come to fulfill this rule in the time of the Roman Empire and even in the time that we are in now. Right? He is. Right? He's not Yahweh, but he is Yahushua. Right?
He is salvation.
Yeah, he is salvation. But
from everlasting.
I even have
verse 3.
Therefore will he give them up until the time that she which travaileth had brought forth.
Yeah, that she which travaileth represents Israel, right? Of the time they brought forth, she was travailing because they was crying out for that deliverer, because he was under heavy persecution.
Even when you go down the book of Acts 1 from verses, when Peter and them asked, well, thou at this time restore the kingdom, and he said it is not for you to know the time and right? Because that what I was crying out for, because they know he is the one to bring salvation.
Even some of the disciples of John asked, is this the one who should we look to another? You know, because he's the one who will now restore all this. But at the time he came to what? To restore, right? Not to the full capacity, but to bring the people back to life, because the scripture speaks about in Matthew the 3rd chapter, the people will sit in great darkness, saw great light. You know, and that was how Yahushua bringing that deliverance. Come to return the children back to him. John the Baptist.
So it's like he delivered the understanding before he delivered the kingdom.
Yeah. I read over Micah 2 and 3. 5 and 3.
Micah 5 and 3. Therefore will he give them up until the time that she which travaileth had brought forth. Then the remnant of his brethren shall return unto the children of Israel.
Then the remnant of his brethren shall return. So she that was under persecution, that woman under travail was Israel, and they was looking forward to that salvation. Just like if you could get the book of Luke, chapter 2 and verse 28. Anytime when he saw Yahushua, he said, "Now let thy servant rest." Right?
Book of Luke, chapter 2 and verses 28.
You can start off with
Yeah. From verse 27.
So start from 25.
Wait, you wanna get
Yeah.
There's verse 25. And behold, there was a man in Jerusalem whose name was Simeon, and the same man was just and devout, waiting for the consolation of Israel, and the Ruach HaKodesh was upon him. And it was revealed unto him by the Ruach HaKodesh that he should not see death before he had seen the Lord's Hamashiach. And he came by the Spirit into the temple, and when the parents brought in the child Yahushua to do for him after the custom of the Lord, then took he him upon his arms and blessed power and said, Lord, now lettest thou thy servant depart in peace according to thy word, for mine eyes have seen thy salvation.
See the salvation because she was being in pain to be delivered. You know, he was going through it. And when he see how shall I say, yeah, boy, now let thy servant.
Yeah, now it's time. Now it's time. Now it's time.
A precept here for that. There is, I think it's 2nd Ezra 11. Yeah, 2nd Ezra 11 and verse. Yeah, the 2nd Ezra 11 and 41. For the earth. So I start from 40. The 2nd Ezra 11 and 40. And the fourth came and overcame all the beasts that were past. That being the Babylonian Empire, the Medes and the Persians, and the Grecian Empire. And had power over the world with great fearfulness, and over the whole compass of the earth with much wicked oppression.
Wicked oppression. And that was the Roman Empire. And with much wicked oppression. So you know where Israel was going through. Heavy oppression. This is Isaiah 66 and verses 7. It says, before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pain came, she was delivered of a man-child. Because it was written. Right? It was written, Isaiah 42 and 9. Right? I tell the formal things. Somebody let's get our work shell. Let's plug it in.
Book of Isaiah, chapter 42, reading from verses 9. Behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things do I declare. Before they spring forth, I tell you of them.
Yeah, so he tells us that a Savior gonna come to save his people. Deuteronomy 18:18, Exodus 23:20, right? Which
Isaiah 9 and 6.
Isaiah 9 and 6, which was speaking of Yahushua, right? He's the deliverer. So the scripture is saying here, before she travailed, she brought forth. Before her pain came, she was delivered of a man-child. So it was predestined for Israel to be delivered. But they had to go through that pain. We had to go through that pain. As spoken of in Revelation 12 and 2. Reading on, it says, Who had heard such a thing? Who had seen such a thing? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Or shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion travailed, she brought forth her children. Shall I bring to the birth, and not cause to bring forth, say the Lord Yahweh? Shall I cause to bring forth, and shut the womb, say thy power? Rejoice ye with Jerusalem, and be glad with her. All ye that love her, rejoice for joy with her. All ye that mourn for her, that ye may suck, and be satisfied with the breast of her consolations, as Simeon wanted to see. He wanted to see the constellation of Israel. You know, it says that ye may milk out and be delight with the abundance of her glory. For thus saith Yahweh, behold, I will extend peace to her like a river, and the glory of the Gentiles like a flowing stream. Then shall he suck, ye shall be borne upon your sides, and be dindled upon the knees. So hey, the Lord will bring peace. You know?
The scripture says, I think it's same Isaiah 9 and 6 or 7. 9 and 6. For unless a child is born, unto us a son is given, the government shall be upon his shoulders. You know, I mean, the elect, the 144. And his name shall be called Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty Power, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace.
Prince of Peace. So we can go back to the Revelation, right? That was just dealing with verse 2 when she about to be cry out, you know, the
What she was hoping for.
and that was she was hoping for. Go ahead.
The Revelation chapter 12, now reading verses 2. Sorry, verses 3.
You can read it over and then flow into it.
Okay. Reading back from verses 2. And she being with child cried, and travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. Verses 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads.
Yeah, that 7 head and 10 horn goes into the whole of the Edomite Empire, right? Which would have been the Germania Minor, Germania Major, right? French, the Spanish, the Romans, and British.
And this it's at all with the Grecian Empire.
The Grecian, yeah. Yep. And that is a wonder. I forget to bring this precept here real quick. Revelation chapter 17 and verses 9. It says, and here is the mind which had wisdom, the 7 heads, because when you see the heads, these things goes into rulership, government, you know, empires.
It's poetic talk, because I mean, Hosea 12:10, I've multiplied visions, I've used similitudes, it is likening to something, it's not actually something, but it's referring to something. Right?
It says, and here, Revelation 17:9, and here is wisdom. Here is the mind which had wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. That woman, speaking about America, that stood upon the dragon, right? It says, and there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come. Right? The one which was the Roman Empire, and the other which was not yet come was speaking about the British. Right? It says, and when it cometh, he must continue a short space, because the British Empire didn't last for a long time. Right? And out of the British, it goes on to say, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, which is America, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition, to destruction.
Even when it is of the 7, we know America come out of the British Empire. Them even had to get the independence, so-called, from defeating the British, right? The Revolutionary War.
Yeah, the Revolutionary War. Yep.
And not only that too, we know these guys going into destruction because the person who ruled America is the Edomites, and them is the sons of perdition.
And that way, they say in verse 11, it says, perdition, who, you understand, to be destroyed.
Right.
Yes, read over verse 4, read over verse 3.
Revelation 12, reading back from verses 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his heads.
Right, Revelation 17, 9 to 10, 11, answer that, right? Based on what the heads and the crowns and things represent. Go ahead.
Verse 4. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it were born.
Right, so let's somebody can get Daniel 8. Right, we're just going to add something with the stars. Right, Daniel, the 8th chapter, and the 9th verse. Now, this is talking about a different time period, but we're just going to use the stars, right? This was talking about Antiochus, right? But go ahead.
Daniel 8 and 9. And out of one of them came forth a little horn which waxed exceeding great.
That was Antiochus Epiphanes. Go ahead.
Toward the south and toward the east and toward the pleasant land.
Toward the pleasant land. The pleasant land was Jerusalem. Go ahead.
Verse 10. And it waxed great even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the host of the stars to the ground and stamped upon them.
It cast down some of the host of the stars. Right? So that is one part that we dealt with, because we bring out precepts earlier on in Revelation 12 and 1. Where we went into Genesis 37, right? With the stars. Right? So now we're going to deal with where it says, and did cast, and the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, Israel, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And this is Herod, right, was seeking to kill Yahushua, right? So let's go to the book of Matthew 2.
I got a precept here.
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Oh, they tell you the casting down, right? Oh, they Lamentation chapter 2 and verse 1.
That's one if I could just.
Salak. And I just want to add when it says and the tail drew the third part of the stars. That third part of the stars was pertaining to Judah, Benjamin, and Levi.
The southern kingdom.
Right, the southern kingdom. Because we just read about the pleasant land. Right, they would have been dwelling in the land predominantly. Right,
Because the northern kingdom
already left
right.
under the Assyrian captivity under Shalmaneser the fifth. Right, Tiglath-Pileser would have been his father. But nevertheless, continue.
Yeah.
Go ahead, brother.
Lamentations 2 and 1. How had the Lord Yahweh Shai covered the daughter of Zion with a cloud in his anger, and they cast down from heaven unto earth the beauty of Israel, and remembered not his footstool in the day of his anger.
And that was all the Lord doing. Right? Anytime until she's Epiphany, that was the Lord doing. Right? So go ahead.
So you know what in Revelation when they say cast down from heaven, we know that this mean get brought down to lowest state.
state,
We're talking about the actual heavens.
Amat.
And verses 5. I can read back on foot. Yeah, more?
Yeah, we had some precepts.
Yeah, we have more precepts and they book guys by Matthew.
Yeah, Matthew 2, we're talking
Matthew 2
about.
and
Is that from
pain.
one?
you can start from 1 and you go jump around a little bit. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Now, when Yahushua was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king,
In the days of Herod the king,
Yeah.
that way the scripture says, and she brought forth a man child was Salak. Where it says, and the dragon stood before the woman which was ready to be delivered, before to devour her child. Right? That was going into Herod who wanted to devour Yahushua, right, when he was born. Well, go ahead.
behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to jump down to verses.
So the wise men came to inquire, you know, because when you read down in the history, we ain't to go into it, you can read it on your spare time. We talk about, you know, they tell them, look, see this time, you know, the king will not be born, and Herod was faithful of losing the authority, the power seat. Go ahead.
You jumping down now to verses 7. Then Herod, when he had privily called the wise men, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again that I may come and worship him also.
Yeah, and that was deception. Herod wanted to kill him. You know?
I precept for that.
You're talking about we kill the 2-year-olds.
No,
It's not that again.
We'll get that on all too.
Yep.
It's Psalms 55 and verse 20. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Then he had put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He had broken his covenant. Verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were soft than oil, yet they were drawn swords.
And that was the ultimate plan, to draw the sword against the Lord.
Yapa plugin.
Go ahead, Matthew.
Matthew 2, continuing from verses 9. When they had heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was.
And as the scripture clearly identify, right? Where it speaks about the child, when they go into the child, it's particularly to the men, right? Exodus, somebody can get Exodus 1:16, Holy Matthew, because we go Monday, right?
Look at Exodus chapter 1 and verse 16. And he said, when he do the and he said, when he do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew woman, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then he shall kill him, but if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
Yeah, so it's a direct attack upon the men of the children of Israel, right? So Herod wanted to kill the men child of the kingdom of Israel.
Because even when you go into the word child, it means son.
Ban.
Right.
So go back to the Matthew.
Right, Matthew 2, reading from verses 9 now. When they heard the king, they departed, and lo, the star which they saw in the east went before them till it came and stood over where the young child was.
In Bethlehem. Go ahead.
Verse 10, when they saw the star, they rejoiced with exceeding great joy. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh.
Go ahead, verse 12.
And being warned of power in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way.
So the wise men were warned from the Almighty, from Yahweh, not to go back to Herod. Read verse 13, because Herod is a sly fox. Go ahead.
They Matthew 2 and 13 now. And when they were departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him.
Read verse 16. Jump to verse 16. Herod was seek to kill the young child, right? Because when Herod, read verse 16, that's going to answer the plot that Herod had. But the Lord ain't control.
Yeah, they Matthew 2 and verse 16. Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem, and all the coasts thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men.
Verse 17.
Then was fulfilled that which was spoken by Jeremy the prophet, saying,
No, Jeremy, Jeremiah.
Jeremiah 31:15. The whole lot, go ahead.
In Ramah was their voice heard, lamentation and weeping and great mourning, Rachel weeping for her children, and would not be comforted because they are not.
I know people will see Rachel and they will say, well, Rachel only had 2 sons. But remember the concubine that was given to Rachel, right? Them children would have been Rachel's children, right? Just the concubine bare them. And that was Judah. You know, a great cry. Because the great slaughter, 2 years old, 2 years and under, Herod slayed.
I know Judah and
Benjamin, Khan, Tawara. You know, a great slaughter in Ramah.
Jeremiah 21:15, and we know Jeremiah they talking about there. That say the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yeshai. A voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rachel, it say Rahel here, but we know it's Rachel, weeping for her children, refused to be comforted for her children because they were not.
Yeah, they were not. You know, this was a massacre. So we go back to the book of Revelation. Right?
So we deal with that verse 4, but just read it back. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and it cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born.
As soon as it was born, that is what Herod wanted to do. As soon as the child born, he inquired of the wise men. When he realized he was tricked, because he was watching diligently with them men, boy. But we know with them men, boy, the men reach back yet, boy. Nah, 2 years fast. 2 years past. See this? You're gonna run a massacre in our place, eh? You know?
Now, read this verse 5 now. And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto power and to his throne.
Right, so we don't deal with the man-child ruling all nations. So we can go to Revelation 2, verse 28. You can get Psalms, Baba Kusha, 2 and 8. I go hold the next precept here. So what is Revelation 2? Could go ahead.
Revelation 2. I can read from verses 25. But that which ye have already hold fast till I come, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, To him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, as the vessels of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I have received of my Father.
Yeah, how did they receive it? Psalms, the second chapter, going to answer. Go ahead.
In Psalms 2 and also from 7, I will declare the decree the Lord Yahweh had said unto me, Thou art my son, this day I have begotten thee. Ask of me, and I shall give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, and the uttermost parts of the earth for thy possession.
Yeah, that is what the Lord gave him. He gave him the heathens and the uttermost part. We just read it in Revelation 2:27 and 28. So all who overcome, starting with the elect, they're going to inherit that glory, join heirs with Yahushua. Right? Just breaking down the... And she brought forth the man-child who was to rule all nations. Yeah, that is Yahushua. Yahushua who going to rule all nations. And the elect going to rule under Yahushua.
Our precept here talk
Yeah,
that.
go ahead, brother.
Now we finish the Psalms 2 and 9. Thou shalt break them with a rod of iron. Thou shalt dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. The book of I think it's Mark. Yeah, Mark 16 and about verse. Well, in Mark 16 and verse 19. So then after the Lord had spoken unto them, being Yahushai, then he was received up into heaven and sat on the right hand of the Father, Yahweh.
And her child was caught up unto power and to his throne.
And when you go to Psalms 110 and verse 1, a psalm of David, the Lord Yahweh said unto my Lord, the Lord Yahweh said unto my Lord Yahweh Shai.
Psalms 110?
Psalms 110.
That is between David and Solomon.
Between David and Solomon. The Lord Yahweh Shai said unto my Lord, sit thou at my right hand until I make
that is David is saying that. Lord said unto my Lord. That is David saying unto Solomon. You know?
Right.
Speaking unto Solomon saying, hey. Because David understood who Solomon was.
Right.
So the Lord David said unto my Lord Yahushai, which will be Solomon at that time, Solomon, sit thou at my right hand until I make thine enemies thy footstool.
Yep. So we go on David caught up because he was scripture say he was caught up into heaven, right? Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7, it says, behold, he cometh to Salak. Acts chapter 1 and verse 9, it says, and when he had spoken these things, while they beheld, he was taken up, and a cloud received him out of their sight. Right? You can read over the Revelation 5.
The Revelation 12 and
5.
And she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto power and to his throne.
Right? Yeah, go ahead.
And now we're going into verses 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of power, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
Right, so we're going to break down what this verse means. Because in all the history, you wouldn't understand the mystery. So now the scripture says the woman fled. Right? The woman fled. Where did she fled? She fled into the wilderness. The wilderness there was representing the Africa.
Interior coast of
Africa. So we have some history from the book of Babylon to Timbuktu. But I'm going to get it there. Alright? By the time, but I could hold Luke 21 and verse 21. You can read it by the time.
The book of Luke chapter 21 and verse 21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein too. For these be the days.
Start from verse 20. Salak.
Right. Luke 21 and verse 20. And when he shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Right, so now we're going to get into the history, right? On what fulfilled when Jerusalem compassed with armies, right? Well, tell me when you have it there, brother.
Yeah, this is the way.
Alright, you can read verse 21 by the time, man.
Luke 21:21. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein too.
Yeah, because it's Jerusalem compact with armies. There's heavy persecution going on. Flee to the mountains was talking about in Africa. And we're going to get the interior coast of Africa. We're going to get the history that the brother have here from the book of Babylon to Timbuktu, written by Winston Hope. The author?
Rudolph R. Winslow.
Beautiful. By Rudolph R. Winslow. As you can see earlier on, it would have the copy page where I see Babylon to Timbuktu. So this is page 84 of Babylon to Timbuktu, right? Corresponding the history with the Bible. Go ahead.
And you're going to read from the top here, or you can go from this paragraph?
Yeah, you can go from that paragraph.
Right. In the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem.
Alright, so in the year 65 BC, right? 65 BC, okay, before the coming of the Almighty, Salak, of the Messiah. Go ahead.
In 70 AD,
70 AD, Ado Damanai, year of our Lord, right? So that would have approximately been 105 years, right? Go ahead.
General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state.
That was the Flavian dynasty, right? That was the Flavian dynasty. So after Pompeo, which Pompeo would have died, right? Then come Vespasian and Titus, which would have been his son, right? And Domitian, which would have been his other son. They come now, as the history goes on to say, go ahead.
Put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter.
Great slaughter. Go back to the book of Luke 21.
Yeah, but they Luke 21 and 22.
Read verse 20.
Start back with 20.
Yeah.
It's Luke 21:20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh. Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out. And let not them that are in the countries enter therein too.
So now there was a great disperse, but we mainly going to deal with Africa. Because some of us fled into North Africa, up into Europe and these different places, but we're dealing with Africa, the land. We're dealing with that wilderness in Revelation 12 and verse 5. Go ahead, brother, with the history.
Oh, sorry, continue, right? Right, with great sort. Right, during the period of the military governors of Palestine, many outrages and atrocities, the abomination of desolation, were committed against a residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave markets are full of black Jewish slaves.
Right? Hebrew Israelite slaves. So you go back to the book of Revelation, right? Chapter 12 and verses 6.
A precept to that. They Luke 21 and 22. For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled.
Jerusalem had a compass with armies. That was prophesied to be that way, because it's going to add up to another prophecy. Go ahead.
Then into Revelation 12 and 6. Revelation 12 and verses 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness.
Right, that is the Israelites. The wilderness was Africa. Right? Go ahead.
Where she had a place prepared of power that they should feed her there 1,203 days.
So we're going to deal with the place prepared. The place prepared was speaking about the land of America. So let's go to the book of Joel, chapter 3 and verses 5.
I precept that.
You go ahead, brother.
It's the book of Micah, chapter 4 and verse 10. 4 and 10, right? Yeah, 4 and 10. Be in pain, or you want to read Joel first?
Now go ahead, you read it thing.
Micah 4 and 10. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail, for now shall thou go forth out of the city, that city being Israel and Jerusalem, and thou shalt dwell in the field, that be in Africa, and thou shalt go even to Babylon, which is America. There shalt thou be delivered. There the Lord Yahweh shall redeem thee from the hand of thine
You can
enemies.
even read Isaiah ways by 11 and 11, boy.
The Lord stretch forth here a second
Time,
time.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a beautiful precept. But then you read back our precept again,
And it's so nice to bring it twice.
That's a serious one. That's a serious one.
Is Micah 4 and 10. Be in pain and labor to bring forth, O daughter of Zion, like a woman in travail. For now shalt thou go forth out of the city, being Israel, and thou shalt dwell in the field, being Africa, and thou shalt go even to Babylon, being America.
That is the land prepared. That is the place prepared.
Our precept that Zechariah 2 and 6.
Yep.
There shalt thou be delivered. There the Lord Yahweh shall redeem thee from the hand of thine enemies.
Go ahead, brother.
Zechariah 2 and 6. Ho, ho, come forth and free from the land of the north, said the Lord Yahweh Shai.
And that land of the north is America.
Right. Again, the geographical location,
Right.
no ancient Babylon, nothing, not. Yeah.
For I have spread you abroad as the four winds of heaven, said the Lord. Even when you read that in the NLT, the Lord says, come away, flee from Babylon.
From where?
From
Babylon.
You had to read down to verse 7 now, you know it's Babylon, but keep going.
So, flee from Babylon in the land of the north, for I have scattered you to the four winds. Like Matthew 24 talking about he will send his angels and
Gather them. Mark
before.
13 and Mark 13, 27 also says that too.
James as well, James 1 and 1.
Yep. First Peter 1 and 1.
Yep.
Deliver, verse 7 now in the KJV, Zechariah 2 and 7. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon. So, we're reading back now.
Yeah.
Isaiah 11.
Just now, we go bring that precept just now.
I think it's Hosea 10 you wanted.
No, what scripture we read last?
Joel 3. It's Joel
Yeah,
3.
Joel 3.
Yeah.
Joel 3 and 5.
Yep. Book of Joel, chapter 3, and verses 5. Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians.
The Grecians, now when you look at word Grecians, they're up. They'll go into Javan or Yawan, which will go back to Japhet, but it wasn't the Japhites who did that, right? It was the Edomites, because they like to call themselves after other people. That was the Edomites that we were sold onto, right?
So I have a piece of that nice. Is Psalms 49, verse 11.
In what thoughts?
The inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names.
So the call the lands after their own names. So when they conquered Russia, right? Edomites conquered it. That was actually Japhet land, you know. So that way they say the Grecian. When they go into the Grecian, they go to the Japhet, but it was Edomites. You know, go ahead.
That ye, continuing verse 6, that ye might remove them far from their border, being the land. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head.
The place we just read, but I read it in Micah 4 and 10, but I read it in Zechariah 2, right? The place, that place, what the scripture talks about in Revelation, the 6th chapter, that place prepared, right, is America. That is that place. And in that land, we serve harsh captivity.
I had the precept in my head with that back there.
Go ahead,
because when you read that, it's Revelation 11:8, right? In the place spiritually called Sodom and Egypt, right? They say, no, they Jeremiah, it's 50 and 33.
25 or 23?
33.
33, yeah. 32 families.
Yeah, right.
Our precept here to Deuteronomy 28 and 68, but you can read first.
there's I can read from verses 31. Behold, I am against thee, O thou most proud. Jeremiah
Esau,
50 and
Edom.
31, right?
Most proud, Esau, Edom, the Grecians, who we were sold unto.
Because all the heathens and them proud, but he's the most proud.
Can
He's-
more proud, and Esau is most proud.
Right. Say the Lord Yahweh Shai, power of hosts, for thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee. And the most proud shall stumble and fall, and none shall raise him up.
None. So when you fall, you're going to go to the ground. If anyone have no help for you. Alright? Go ahead.
Scripture say, I would have healed, but it's like we would have healed Babylon, but she's not healed.
I think it's the same chapter, verses 9. This one of 51 is verses 9.
I believe it's this one.
Yep. And I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. Thus said the Lord Yahweh Shai of hosts. The point here, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go.
And that is a serious thing. They committed a serious crime. And that is the place that was prepared. You get Hosea 1 and 10.
Our precept here, they Deuteronomy 28, because they're not just known as Babylon, they're known as a lot of things in the scriptures.
Assyrian, Babylon, Nineveh, Mystery Babylon,
The biggest one, Sodom and Egypt.
Sodom and Egypt.
I have it here for Egypt. They Deuteronomy 28 and 68.
Where
And the Lord Yahweh Shai shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now we know the first time we went into Egypt, we didn't go in by the way of ships, because if you look up a map, you won't need to. That was walking distance. Even if you read further down in the Matthew chapter 2, we was reading, it say, sorry, if you read further up, it say they walk down into Egypt. We go in there to a ship for. That's making no sense.
yeah, it's just land. It's land.
Come on.
We go down silly sand.
By the way, wherever I speak unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen.
So let's see that wilderness.
No gonna make that point. That seed no more again is the wilderness.
No more again was the wilderness. We should have been in that present time.
Yeah, the wilderness, so the Israelites walk through it. Moses, they're not going to see Egypt by that way anymore. So obviously, it's not the same Egypt you're talking about, right?
Beautiful.
And no man shall buy you. Now, I have a point to make here. You shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. But you can sell, but at the same time, nobody buying you.
Because when they go into the word buy, it means redeem. Right? The only person who's going to redeem us is Yahweh Shai. No man can redeem us. Even though slavery abolished, so as some sort, shackle slavery, right? It still have slavery going on. Right? The people is still are going, right? But the only person who could redeem us back to that standard, to kingly, right? To kingly status is Yahweh Shai.
I believe it's in Corinthians talking about he had bought at that price.
Nice.
It's only the Lord could redeem us.
7.
Yep, it's only the Lord could buy you back. Because we belong to Him.
He will belong to
We
you.
see the weight is Deuteronomy 32 and 80 lot of
Have it,
his
have
inheritance.
it.
Yep.
They Deuteronomy 32 and verse 8. When the Mosiah Bashir Shai divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. Verse 9, for the Lord Yahweh Bashir Shai portion is his people, Jacob is the lot of his inheritance.
This is the people who is the lot of the Lord inheritance. This is the people who fled into Africa, which would have been the wilderness there, right? These are the people who have been brought to the land of America, the place prepared, right? So go back to the book of Hosea.
Yeah, I know that one I'm telling you.
Go ahead, bro.
Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. It shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living God.
In the place where it was said, and where that's being said right now in the land of America. And they said, nah, them is not the Lord people. Yeah, but this is who the prophecy is fulfilling.
Right.
Revelation, the 12th chapter, is fulfilling these people. The scripture said that we're going to go into slavery. You know, we looked up some history on things that we have experienced in slavery, the Middle Passage, right? The transatlantic
slave trade,
you know,
right?
where it was going from Europe to America to the Caribbean, right? In that triangle, and then with the Middle Passage, it have something called well, let us call it the Middle Passage with the sharks, you know. And we even looked up. They said about 15%, which we know that is just Esau want to give a number, but we know it's more, right? And we just using the number that was given. Let me just see. A million, 15% of that is 150,000. So think about 150,000 died.
So, when we look it up to, it was an 80 days journey.
An 80 days journey.
Because something we used to go down during that journey was that when people was dying, they was getting thrown overboard. And wizard that is food for sharks. When you look up the Middle Passage, one of the things it known for was that the sharks used to literally track the ships and them and follow them because they know every time a man would either jump off and say fuck this and fuck these men, I'm not saying yeah. Or whether they get thrown overboard or whether someone get sick and die and really get thrown overboard. The sharks and them know it's feeding time. So you could look up history on that as well and you could get an understanding, right?
Yep. And that's how it was, brought into the place prepared by way of ship, which you will see no more. We ain't gonna see that wilderness no more. Right? So go ahead, read back in Revelation.
Right, reading back 12 and verses 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of power, that they should feed her there 1,203 days.
Right, that 1,203 days will go back into 42 months, which will go back into the 350 years, which will fulfill the prophecy in Revelation, the 11th chapter, and the 11th verse, which will have been from the time of 1619 to 1970, which would have been the revived, right, of Elder Abba Bivens, which would have been Elijah the prophet.
Malachi 4, 5 to 6.
Go ahead, brother.
The Revelation 11, I start from verse 8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt.
Great city, America.
That golden city, how are the golden city
cease.
right?
Where also our Lord was crucified. Now we know this here meaning the Lord was X'd out or blotted out our memory and replaced with the picture of Cesar Borgia.
And also the ways of the Lord in that land.
Yeah, the whole heritage.
Kill off. Discontinue Jeremiah 17 and 4.
It says, same piece of party get up. Two.
Yep.
Yeah, but we can bring on
bring it.
Then Baruch chapter 2 and reading from verses 29. If ye will not hear my voice, surely this very great multitude shall be turned into a small number among the nations where I will scatter them.
Fulfilling the curses in Deuteronomy 28.
For I knew that they would not hear me because it is a stiff-necked people. But in the land of their captivities, right?
Which is in America.
Right, Judah and Israel were pressed together. They shall remember themselves and shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh, their power, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear, and they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name.
I guess for those who want to say the name not important,
Come on.
The name is
fulfilling
less
prophecy,
important than fulfilling prophecy.
The name title prophecy, yeah.
Beautiful. We want to think about the name in the land of our captivity.
You know, just a plug in, but who doing that? Who fulfilling these precepts?
Yeah,
it can't be the small acts and them according to them, the new covenant, them living in it.
No, can't be them. It can't be them. They never fulfilled these prophecies. They was never into shackle slavery. They never been packed on a ship, right?
Even when it is the yoke on your neck, when you read Deuteronomy 28, if you look up that, you'll see that it's slave shackles.
That's Deuteronomy 28, 48.
Yeah, around there, and even when you go into history, right, you will see that have Fort George in Trinidad, that Fort George in Tobago, where the different colonizers, right, the Edomites. And we had the privilege to go there more than once, right, and they even had for the slaves who used to like to run away, right? They used to put a thing around your neck with a big X now. like a projecting out. Then they have the one with the bell, right, on his neck and coming over your head. So that where the song Jingle Bell
that's
come from,
yeah.
right? So if you try to run with that, be making ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
So they would see where he was, and that one with the X, you could not run through the forest, so that just stick up on
Hitting
thing and
trees
hit
and
the trees and,
yep.
you know, and hey, seeing the shackle, right, the chains that was used to enslave our people. You know, I looking at it and I saying I couldn't bear that, because watching my structure, right, to see that have some weight to it, that has some serious weight to it. So hey, you saw Edom, as you brother read the precept in Jeremiah 50, 33 and 34, right? You have a lot to pay for.
Damn, like Revelation 13 and all. Those who do 13 and 10.
Yeah,
you get
13 and 10, yeah.
Revelation 13 and verse that's from 9.
Yep, 9.
If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
It's a just thing. 2 Thessalonians chapter 1 and verse 6.
6.
Seeing it is a righteous thing with Yahweh Hashem Yahushua to recompense tribulation to them that troubled you. And we were troubled. But everything was going according to prophecy. In the book of Ecclesiastes says, let's paraphrasing, I see a man ruled over next man to his own hurt. Esau ruled over the nation of Israel, but it's to his own hurt. It's to his own hurt. The praise prepared that the Lord sent us into the land of America, where he showed the Lord people no pity, Isaiah 47 and 6. I was rooted my people, you know, and thou did show them no mercy upon the ancient, and thou heavily laden the yoke. You're gonna get double.
Ezekiel 25, 12 to 14 as well, for we do to Judah. And we know the Lord I'm saying roughly paraphrasing, the Lord is hear the cry of Judah. God coming for you, right?
Have hell to pay.
Revelation 11 9. And they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to go into graves. And we know it's talking about spiritually, because spiritually is there with Ezekiel 37. What is it? Ezekiel 37?
Yeah, 37 9, 37 10.
Yeah.
It now say shall not suffer their bodies to be put in graves. I think that Lamentations day that see they shall wag the tail and hiss a
Like 2:15. Lamentations 2:15.
Yeah, if you could bring that out as well, because these nations see what Esau Edom do to we, and then they do shit about
Yeah,
it.
they was happy.
Hey, Marco, I have a precept for that one time too. Get it. Before I read that precept. Supposed to be Maccabees.
2:15.
First Maccabees here, 2
10.
2 and
It's
10.
2 and
Yeah.
10.
First Maccabees 2 and 10. First Maccabees 2 and 10. What nation had not a part in her kingdom and gotten of her spoils?
What nation? All these nations have had part in the nation of Israel affliction.
All them
Scripture
benefit
says,
from it.
Yep, they lick the sores. They lick the sores, you know, they help further the affliction, like Psalm 83 chapter.
That confederacy.
A confederacy, they all had this agreement, they want to see. Yeah, well, we had to see them, boy. And if a fellow say, this is the day that we have waited for. Psalms 137. This is the day that we have waited for. The city fall of Jerusalem, the city fall of Israel, and they was like, yeah, boy, this is the day that we have waited for.
The Lamentations 2 from verses 15. All that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All thine enemies, the heathens is we enemies, Nehemiah 5 and 9, have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is a day that we look for, we have found, we have seen it.
Calm. So what I have watching you, shall I see scripture?
Yeah, no quote.
That's scripture, no quote. That's Psalms 37, 137. So like, yeah. Right, so you could go back to the Revelation.
Revelation 11 and 10. And they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them, and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another. And you know them gifts was slaves.
Gifts.
Mm,
They can
that-
go back to Joel 3 and 1.
And it's Ezekiel, I think it's 28 and 5.
Yeah, 28 and 8 or 28 and 5 we see
By thy traffic.
by that traffic
And
as
I
though
know God, yeah,
his
Ezekiel
riches.
like 28
And
and
that traffic was pertaining to slavery.
slavery.
You understand?
That would go into the banking families, how they amass the wealth. That was one of the means of amassing the wealth.
And having us laboring for free, picking cocoa, cotton, sugar cane.
They grilled us over that.
Yeah, what you mean? Yeah, you increase your riches, and it never changed. You know, you're still doing traffic via water. You know, majority of the shipping is through cargo, right? Through cargo, and that's how we were brought here. Go ahead.
The Joel chapter 3, reading from verse 1. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem.
That's all. I know it's in Joel. We say a boy for wine.
That is
Oh.
2.
2, isn't it?
That is 2.
2 and 1. Nah, that
No.
can be 2. That is 3.
That is 3.
That is 3. That can be.
Start from 3.
2 and 3.
I know it's in Joel 3.
Yeah, 3 and 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 and 3. I mean 2, sir.
And they have cast lots on my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink.
Because they say they give gifts, right? That's what they do. They give gifts. They cast lot for the Lord people, and they give gifts. Like, yeah, enjoy that. I'll take a drink of wine, you know? So, which state in the NLT? Can you get in the NLT? What you say in the NLT?
They have Joel 3 verses 3 in the NLT. They threw dice to decide which of my people would be their slaves. They traded boys to obtain prostitutes and sold girls for enough wine to get drunk.
Go ahead. Somebody got a precept?
That's mentioned in Revelation here. Actually, no, read Ezekiel 28 and 5. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart is lifted up because of thy riches. I mean, those let me get Sirach is 10 and 8, boy.
Heart lifted up, thou most proud. Because he see what he have did to those people. And we scripture says Zechariah 11 chapter. You know who's possessed us slay them.
Right.
You know? You see that and say, yeah, well, and he said, thou thinkest altogether that the Most High was as one with thee. The Most High is not one with thee.
Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. Sentence against
So
an
evil work is not executed speedily. It is
fully set in the hearts of the sons of men to do evil.
wickedly.
Do wickedly.
And the scriptures also says in Sirach, where it says injuries and riches.
I did the same precept in Sirach 10 and 8.
Yeah, so they amass the wealth and riches, and they're gonna pay for it. It is because of unrighteous dealings, riches gotten by the seedly kingdom is translated from one hand to another, right?
Injuries, if you get injuries. I read it verbatim.
Oh, that's the same thing on Okode?
Yeah,
The same scripture, all of it goes.
Yeah.
It's Sirach 10 and 8 because of unrighteous dealings, injuries and riches gotten by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another.
And you can get James 5.
5.
James 5. Because they increase in riches through the traffic, as I just read in Ezekiel 28 chapter, right? Go ahead.
James 5 and 1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you.
Miseries that's going to come upon thee. Go
Because
ahead.
them riches and all that money that have only gone stand, like we say, is a court. Basically, we say, yeah, what I come in here to judge is a court case holding, right? All evidence against them with all the money they have. How you get that? The Bible say riches gotten by deceit, right? Well, if you the richest people in the world, is biggest liars in the earth. Come on.
Yeah, they are.
And that them riches go and stand as evidence to testify against you in court when the Lord coming to judge all of it.
And it's already being testified against you because the scripture says who we're going to consume.
With
Right?
the
With
spirit
of his
mouth.
mouth and the brightness of his coming. So your judgment
Set.
set. So as the Lord, and when the Lord returns, it's judgment. When America again look, it's judgment. You all know it's your court going on all now. You understand? is how shall I go and bring the judgment? But your court, we don't all know, and it's only guilty, 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 guilty. But this is why the Lord have us going into these scriptures to show that you are guilty, bloody man. Go ahead.
Only that what does also call America the bloody city.
Yeah, the book of Nehemiah, chapter 3.
And then
Go to the bloody city.
Wait is in Revelation talk about herein lies the blood of the saints. Right?
God ain't taking that. And we know, even if you want to listen to me and we just speculating, you know, Satan, we boy right there listen to everything.
He had no understanding as to testify against you in court because he right there in the meetings chain up all night fucking get gas up like cunts. Stupid fuckers, go ahead.
James 5:2. Your riches are corrupted and your garments are
Moth eaten.
Moth eaten, Tawara. Your gold and silver is cankered, and your rust of them shall be a witness against you.
Yeah, that was no the idea was how the rich is going to testify against them. Right?
And shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days.
Yeah, the last days. Now, them treasures that I'm going to help build the kingdom. You know, we ain't talking about your fiat money. We're talking about the gold and the silver that you have poured.
Things actual good things.
So that was it on that. Okay, let's read about Revelation 6.
The Revelation 12 and verses 6. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared of power, that they should feed her there 1,203 days.
Which will add up to 42 months, which will go back to 350 years. Right? So that's the time he had us where we didn't know our power, you know, we were cast into captivity. And then the Lord sent our Biffins, right? Who was to fulfill the prophecy in Malachi, the 4th chapter, Elijah coming the second time, right? Which was to turn the hearts of the father back to the children. The fathers will go back into the apostles, right? And the children will go back into us. You know, so like the heart of the fathers back to the children, and the children. Somebody can read the precept. So bring it down correctly.
Is Malachi.
The fathers would have been Eliaquab,
High priest Marsha.
Marsha. Right. Go ahead.
It's Malachi chapter 4 and verse 5. Behold, I will send you, Elijah the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord.
Great and dreadful day. The great and dreadful day have not yet been fulfilled, but soon will be. When Yahushua came in the time of the Roman Empire, right? He came just to restore the wisdom and the understanding that, hey, ting, you know? And there's XYZ. But now the scripture is speaking about the great and dreadful day. Right? Go ahead.
And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, as I come and smite the earth with a curse.
Right, so the heart of the children to the fathers, and the heart of the fathers to the children. Right, so we will become like the great grandchildren. You know that kind of way.
Come in the last.
In the last, you know. The children is the apostles, the fathers would have been the high priest Aaron, King Marsha, Eliaquab, right? So these men, the Magnificent Seven, right? So like, yeah, I know all the names, but I know what I'm talking about. Our forefathers, right? So, yeah, you hear that precept?
That precept is hard. I want to know is that curse. If you think that curse is some kind of disease or some shit.
Zechariah 5.
Zechariah 5. Zechariah 5 and 1. And behold, then I turned and lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, What seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof 10 cubits. Then said he unto me, This is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth.
What Ezra say, I saw as it were he graved himself a great mountain. I could not see the end of it. Wait is the day of the Lord is a dark day. The chariot big enough to cover the face of the earth.
Yep. Hey, Ezra said he couldn't see the end.
He couldn't
see the end.
That's a big chariot.
A big chariot, a big fathership.
With a mountain like in it too.
Yeah. So and that is poetic speaking, and to show that it's great. To liken it as a mountain you know, it's great. And we don't have no mountain in Trinidad, we only have hills. Because according to ESO, just using ESO theory, a mountain is supposed to be a Pacific height. Right? So we just have hills, we don't have mountains in Trinidad.
And even that we are not even big enough as the Lord child.
No, right? We just use that as a comparison.
I liken
You know, I liken to. But hey, that is the reason why they took down the James Webster telescope. Because it had this footage where a huge ship was coming that bigger than the earth. That X on it. That bigger than the earth was flying, coming to the earth. So hey, who knows? Right? Who knows? But nevertheless, hopefully the lesson was edifying. We touched on Revelation 12 from verses 1 to verses 6. Right, bring out the history. Hopefully it was edifying to the elected nation of Israel. I want to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh,
Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakodash.
Double honors again to our apostles and teachers who do rule well. Lord willing, we get to go from verses 7 onward, right? Starting into the prophecy. Shalom.
Shalom.